Hello dear learners, I am Dr. Madhuri Hooda from Department of Education, Maharshi Dyanand University, Rohtak. Today we are going to discuss another type of disability, which is visual impairment. The learning outcome of today's session are: you will be able to understand the meaning and concept of visual impairment. You will be able to know the causes of visual impairment. You will be able to understand the characteristics of visually impaired children. And you will be able to understand the educational programs for the visually impaired children. Friends, vision is the most actively used sense by men, and visually impaired children are those children who have significant visual difficulties that even with the aids they cannot see well and make them disabled in their routine activities. Visual impairment is defined in terms of visual acuity and field of vision. Visual acuity is the ability of eye to see the distant objects clearly and is assessed by using Snellen chart, which was developed by a Dutch doctor, Herbert Snellen. The first row of this Snellen chart starts with big size E, with the normal eye can see at a distance of 200 feet or far. But when the vision of the person is so impaired that to see the big size E, he or she has to come close to a chart to a distance of 20 feet or less, then he is considered visually impaired. And the second component of visual impairment is field of vision. It is the amount of a space a person can see in one look and at one time. If a person is so impaired that he cannot see more than 20 degrees in width at a time, he is called visually impaired, or he is said to possess tunnel vision. This is also called reduced vision, because the person can perceive only a narrow band with the field of vision. This medical definition is less useful for the education purposes, because this definition includes all those persons who are totally blind and those who have some vision in the same category. From educational point of view, we treat these two categories differently, and many educators have found that visual efficiency is a more important predictor than visual acuity in determining the educational program for the child. Visual efficiency means how well one can use one's vision. This means how the visual information is processed, analyzed and interpreted in the brain. Many terms are used for the children with the impaired vision, like visually handicapped, blind, low vision, partially sighted, and these terms have been used for the same term, visual impairment. Visually handicapped children are the total group of children who require special educational provisions because of their visual problems, and so this is a wide term including all children from low vision to blind. Blind children have either no vision or very little perception or the ability to identify the direction from which the light comes. They have no other alternative with them except to use all other senses instead of sight, and they use braille. They rely on vision as the primary actively sense. Partially sighted children are not having the same problem as the children with low vision or are having. Low vision or partial sighted are not synonym. Low vision means clarity reduction, whereas partial sightedness is defined in terms of distance from the Snellen chart. Let us see the prevalence of visual impairment in India. Among the school-going population, visual impairment is 3% in India, according to National Sample Survey 1991, and in America, visual handicap is considered a low prevalence handicapping condition existing in approximately 1 in every 1,000 school-going children. Now, let us see the causes of visual impairment. Impaired vision in children result from many factors, and causes of visual impairment can be both genetic or environmental. And main cause responsible for visual impairment may be: first, we can say acquisition of genes responsible for visual impairment or blindness in the baby at the time of conception through chromosomes. Another reason may be syphilis and rubella. These are the major causes of visual impairment at the prenatal infection, period of the baby growth. Third is myopia, hyperopia and astigmatism. These are the common eye problems, and they are also called accommodation problems. Accommodation problems have genetic basis. Another reason may be like sometimes eyes have convergence problem, and convergence is the movement of eyeballs to achieve binocular vision. And there are many convergence problems. If all these conditions are not corrected, they may lead to blindness in the affected eye. Some other reasons may be congenital and developmental disorders. They may also contribute towards visual impairment. Retrolental fibroplastis is a disease, is a condition causing visual impairment, and it results in scar tissue forming behind the lens of the eye. There are some other eye diseases like trachoma, glaucoma, cataract, and eye infections responsible for visual impairment. Diseases other than eye diseases also cause visual impairment like chronic diarrhea, hypertension, diabetes, kidney diseases, cancer, typhoid, and malaria. Premature delivery, effects of anesthetic agents, use of instruments at the time of delivery sometimes result in eye infection to the baby, and it may lead to visual impairment. Malnutrition, use of strong drugs, diseases, accidents, and unhealthy socio-psychological environment to mother may also result in visual impairment in baby. And bad effects of improper reading habits, studying in improper light, and working in ill-illuminated room, that may also add to eye defects. Injuries or accidents, especially which create trauma, they may also lead to visual impairment. Now let us discuss the characteristics of visually impaired children. We human beings are primarily dependent upon vision for our routine activities. As a result, visually impaired child has some basic limitations on him. Community attitude and reactions depends upon the tradition, culture, and beliefs of the people over there. And thus these children have characteristics, some of them as a result of their own impairment and some as due to the community attitude and response towards them. First characteristic is they have low achievement motivation, poor personality makeup, and poor self-concept. Many of the blind children face extreme neglect or overprotection, and neglect causes personality problems and behavioral deficiency. Overprotection denies the child from all kind of natural demands and routine risks which are essential for the normal personality development. One characteristic may be like blind child explore their world through auditory and tactual sense rather than the visual sense. So they become victim of one or more problem of verbalism or verbal unreality. Verbal unreality is the child's inappropriate reliance on words and phrases that are not consistent with his sensory experiences. They may have difficulty in understanding the abstract concepts because understanding of abstract concepts is related with the visual experiences, and they are denied with the visual experiences. They have less experiences and range as well as variety of their experiences are also less. They have difficulty in appreciating special concepts. They learn special concepts by use of other senses than vision. If we talk about intelligence, various studies indicate that blind child doesn't differ greatly from the sighted in verbal intelligence except two very rare conditions like retinoblastoma and congenital anophthalmos. These are characterized by mental retardation. Another characteristic is related to linguistic abilities. Language ability of visually impaired children does not differ significantly than those of normal peers of their age. However, they lack facial expressions and gestures during their communication. As far as social and work adjustment are concerned, they are not well accepted by their peers. These children have academic achievement equal to normal children of their age, but they have difficulty in generating word meanings. Another characteristic is related to their environment, ability to control their environment or getting adapted to the environment, so they are very poor at it. Now let us discuss the educational considerations for these children. Educational facilities in our country for the visually impaired children is in two forms. First, special residential institutions, and second, integrated setting. Special residential institutions. Specially trained teachers use Braille to teach blind children or children with very low vision in these schools. The curriculum meant for these schools is same as for the normal school of the particular grade or level. In these institutions, children are given all assistance and support for academics, orientation, mobility training, music, school activities and games. Integrated school setting, here in these schools, Education is provided for those children who have low vision or are partially sighted by making adequate adaptation in normal educational setup. Most of the visually impaired children are being educated with the normal children, and curriculum taught to these children should be the same, but as they require information only by touch and hearing, so they require multisensory curriculum, which is based on plus curriculum. And plus curriculum is not extra, it is compensatory or complementary to the normal curriculum. It has 6 aspects. First is Braille, orientation and mobility, use of equipments, social skills, daily living skills, and multi-sensory training. When we talk about Braille, Braille is a tactile system of reading and writing and was devised by French musician Louis Braille in 1829. Totally blind and the children with very low vision should be trained in terms of Braille system. Then orientation and mobility. Desirable attempts should be made to provide orientation and mobility training to these children, and this should be based on the sense of hearing, touch, smell, taste and kinesthetics. Then use of equipments. Nowadays, it has become quite easier for the visually impaired children to work as efficiently as the normal children with the help of technology. Okay, there are so many different type of equipments. One we can say calculators that orally announce data entries and results of their calculations. Raised numeral watches are there, and electronic magnifiers are there. Optacon is a small machine which is held in hand and it translates the letter by letter into tactile stimulus. Sonic glasses which sends out ultrasonic sound waves that cannot be heard by anyone, and when these sound waves hit objects for obstacles, they are changed into sounds and heard by the blind individual as echoes. Then social skills. Social interaction is a problem area for these children. They are less socially skilled and they are less accepted by their peers. Peer acceptance should be encouraged. And daily living skills. Due to loss of vision, they feel difficulty in carrying out their daily living activities. They should be given proper instruction and experiences for the development of eating skills, dressing, body hygiene, taking bath, handling money, shopping, using electrical devices, appliances, food preparation, making bed, etc. And role of parents and teachers is equally important in development of this aspect. Then multisensory training. Availability of multisensory material and training in them is very helpful to the visually impaired children in overcoming their limitations. Now let us see how the better use of residual vision can be done. For partially sighted children, the primarily used sense is still the vision. So there may be some provision with the help of these provisions. So good utilization of the residual vision can be done. Regular classroom teacher do not have time to learn Braille. So instead of learning Braille, they have to make certain arrangement in the classroom with the help of resource room teachers. So one may be the regular teacher should plan educational program for these children in consultation with the resource room teacher. Positive attitude towards visually impaired children. Regular teachers should foster a sense of independence. Teachers should use concrete experiences in teaching. Pupils should be helped to learn by doing. Teacher should make sure that the proper aids have been selected and the pupil know how to use them. Teachers should be sure to keep background noise to a minimum. And the teacher, regular school teacher, should get help of the sighted children to provide assistance to the visually impaired children. He should encourage healthy interaction among the visually impaired children and the sighted children. And the curricular activities should be according to the intellectual level and the interest of the students, and same type of tasks should be given to all children in spite of their impairment. And visual material should be free from distracting background, non-verbal cues should be avoided, and more verbal interaction should be prompted. So friends, today what we have discussed, let us get a sum up of that. Today we discussed in detail the visual impairment, its concept, its classification, its causes, characteristics in terms of language, intellectual abilities, personality characteristics, and behavioral and socio-psychological characteristics. We have discussed the educational programs and educational